Breathwork class. Has anybody practiced any type of breathwork before? Coming tonight? Maybe. Awesome. So I like to use breathwork as a tool to do different things to the body. So you can change your physiology by utilizing something that you have complete control over, for the most part, is your breath. So I say it's practice to increase resilience to stress, reducing inflammation, and improving immune function. So those three things have been researched as far as what breath work does to the body. Now there's a lot of different types of breath work. Tonight we're going to be looking at three types specifically. But first, why do we do it? Has anybody heard of cortisol? What's cortisol?
Stress.
It's your stress hormone. Yep. So when you're in a fight or flight state, right? So if a bear's chasing you, or if you're behind somebody at a red light that just turned green and they're not going, they're down looking at the phone, something gets released called cortisol, which has an effect on your blood pressure. It has an effect on your body's releasing of blood sugar, so it can spike blood sugar up. Because basically you have to get away from the bear that's chasing you. Right? So you're trying to supply all of your muscles with all this energy, but if you don't use that energy, what ends up happening? Not good things. Right? So research has shown, blood studies have shown, reduced cortisol, saliva as well. Inflammatory markers have been blood studies. Improved overall wellness outcome scores. So these are like the questionnaires you can fill out related to depression, anxiety. So it's crazy, all the different benefits. And I don't feel like we use this enough. Commonly people reach for the pill bottle, whether it's anti-anxiety medications, benzodiazepines, like your Xanax, your Klonopins. We reach for those things first as an external source to fix something from the inside versus using what we have inside to fix the problem itself. All right. So what happens when we're doing these breathing techniques, not all of them, but the ones we'll be practicing tonight, some of them will actually start to tap into our sympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight, right? So when you do certain breath types, especially when we go into breath retentions or holding your breath, your body is going to start to enter into a fight or flight state. Now, the idea with this is that we recognize a fight or flight state and we try to relax into it. So we're learning how to recognize the body being in a fight or flight state, because a lot of times when we get into that state throughout the day, we're not conscious of it. We're just there and we're up. We don't know exactly what it feels like because maybe you're always there. So if you practice putting yourself into that state and then learning how to relax into it, you actually can tap into your autonomic nervous system, which is something that most people say you can't control. But if you look at studies that have been done on Buddhist monks, and they can control their temperature, body temperature, they can control their heart rates, they can stop their heartbeat for periods of time and then start it back up. It's crazy. Yeah, it's actually been documented. There's books written on it. Scientists gone out and studied these people. So what we think is unconscious and that we can't control, we actually have a lot more control than we think. All right, let's see. So you guys ready to play?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Oh, hello. All right, so the three different types of breath work we're going to be doing tonight. The first one's called box breathing. So essentially, this has been it's famous for being used by the Navy SEALs for stress control. You think Navy SEALs undergo some stressful environments? A little bit. So the idea behind this one is you're going to inhale, hold, exhale, hold for equal amounts. Now there's different types of this breath. Sometimes you can do the 4-7-8, which you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds, and then breathe. So there's a lot of different techniques that are very similar to this. But what we're going to do tonight, equal parts. We'll start with 2 seconds, then we'll do 4 seconds, and then we'll try to do 8 seconds. Now, if we're doing any of the breath work, and you start to feel like you're gonna pass out, just breathe normal. Because you have total control over your breath. All right? If it starts becoming intense, or it starts to feel like you're pushing yourself too much, or you're gonna get dizzy, you might pass out, you feel like you're getting sweaty, you feel like you're getting queasy, you feel like your heart's starting to beat kind of weird, like, just breathe normal. It's pretty simple, but we forget sometimes. So I just want to remind you that if you start feeling off on any of this kind of stuff, it's a normal response. You're starting to change the state between sympathetic and parasympathetic. So sometimes you might notice your mouth starts to water, you might start to feel, you might yawn, you might do different things like that. So all those are normal responses to that switching between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So you don't have to push yourself very hard into these tonight. If you want to, what I recommend is pushing yourself maybe 10% beyond your comfort zone. So wherever that is, think maybe I can just push 10% more. Again, if you're on the verge of like blacking out, don't push yourself 10% more. Like just start breathing normally. Please do so. But we're not going to go crazy hardcore breath work. This is all beginner level stuff. So I expect there not to be any issues. If you do have history of like epilepsy, or if you're pregnant, anything like that, yeah, you might not want to push yourself at all on any of this. Anybody's have any questions or concerns? All right, so we're gonna start with box breathing, and we're gonna do each breath work type for approximately 5 minutes for the first 2.
Thank you.
I'm gonna set a timer, and I'm gonna guide you guys through. We're gonna try to breathe together. I'm gonna be counting for you. You can follow me. You can go to your own count. Doesn't matter to me. Do what you want. So I'll be here to guide you along the process. Again, if you start feeling uneasy about anything, just go back to a normal breath. Relax. Lay down if you need to. We all have mats, blankets, whatever we got. Sound good?
Yep.
Guys ready? Okay. So we're going to start with some box breathing. So first we're going to start with inhale for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, exhale 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds. All right? So everybody get in a nice relaxed position, whether that's sitting, laying down. I recommend, if you've never really done breath work before, put your back up against a wall or something like that, just so you have a little bit of support. So whatever feels good for you. All right, we're going to start with a 2-second inhalation. Here we go. Inhale, 1, 2, hold. Exhale, 1, 2, hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. 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 Hold. 4 seconds. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. In. Hold. Exhale. Hold. In. Hold. Out. 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 Hold. I'm going to go 8 seconds. In slow. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. Hold. Back to normal breath. Welcome back. What you got?
So when I was breathing, I didn't know if I should breathe all through my mouth, some through my nose.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that it's good to breathe through your nose and out through your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
So there's different responses with those. So if you breathe purely through your nose, you're going to be activating your parasympathetic nervous system a little bit more, and you'll be increasing your nitric oxide levels a little bit higher, which helps with like lowering blood pressure and stuff like that. So there's a little bit more research done with nose breathing. Inhalation has been done with like Wim Hof breathing, typically is done through the mouth. Box breathing, in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your nose, into like doesn't
Just
necessarily.
whatever's comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do either one. As long as you're getting the oxygen in, that's the important part. How'd you guys feel with that one? Got a little hard on the 8-second one, huh?
When you're breathing out, are you supposed to get all the air out?
Just yeah. So it's basically a full exhalation, and you just take 8 seconds to get there.
Okay.
So sometimes you just have to slow down the exhalation a little bit versus like,
Like you'd say stop, and I'm like, oh, but I still have more breath to blow up.
yeah.
You know?
So it's kind of like, and again, when you have somebody counting it, it's a little bit different than when you're doing it yourself. But essentially, it's like you want to get to that full inhalation within that time period.
And full exhalation.
Full exhalation.
And then
within
you
that
hold
time.
it with an empty.
Yep. Exactly. All right. You guys ready for the next round?
Yeah.
All right. This is probably my least favorite because it feels like torture to me. However, this, like some people, for my wife, it's like her favorite. So, resounding maybe, if you go my path or her path. But either way, it has an effect. And for me, when I feel like something is very difficult for me, probably means that I should practice that thing more. That's the way I look at it. And with these types of things, feeling that torturous type of feeling is basically your shift from sympathetic into parasympathetic. So you're starting to tap into those fight or flight responses where your body's like, breathe, stupid! And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm not gonna die, right? Like, what's the worst that can happen when you're doing breath work?
Pass out.
You might lose consciousness, and then what happens?
Breathe again.
Start to breathe. Now, like I said, if you have epilepsy, that's a different story. You might have a seizure or something like that. So if that is the case, I do not recommend pushing yourself very hard at all with breath work. So this is called Buteyko method. This was actually developed to treat asthmatic patients to increase their ability to open lung capacity. So the way you do this is you inhale through the nose and then you exhale through the nose. Sounds simple enough, but the breath should be so slow and quiet that you can barely feel it coming in and out. So you can't hear it, you can't necessarily, I mean, you can feel it a little bit, but you shouldn't be able to hear yourself breathing, and you're going pretty much as slow of an inhalation and as slow of an exhalation as you possibly can. The slower you go with it, the more benefit you get as far as like the blood level changes. So this one I usually like to lay down for. And if I start writhing and crying, don't mind me. It's fine. No, don't worry, I'm good. Alright, so for this one, just get in a comfortable position. You can sit, you can lay down, whatever works for you. Alright, so I'm not going to be guiding on this one, because again, it's kind of at your own pace. But again, the idea is that you breathe slow. If you start to notice like you feel like you need to take a deep breath, it's okay to just take a deep breath, go back to normal breathing for a second, then go right back to the practice. So don't feel like you have to push yourself. But again, at 10%, if you can, 10% push. Can slow it down a little bit, breathe a little lighter, breathe a little slower. into your belly. Feel your belly rise up when you breathe in, like you're filling a balloon. Deflate as you breathe out. If you can breathe a little slower, a little lighter. See if you can draw that inhalation a little bit longer. 10%. Draw that exhalation a little longer, a little quieter. 10%. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, come out of it a little bit. Sit up slow. Welcome back. How'd you guys find that one? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Which was harder, the box breathing or that one?
That one was harder for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, box for me.
Yeah? Everybody's
I had
different.
to try without a mask at home and all
Sure,
that helped.
that's fair, that's fair. Awesome. How do you feel right now?
Zen down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, right? Alright, so we're gonna move into Wim Hof breathing now. I don't know how good I'm gonna be at counting breaths, but we're gonna breathe for time. So we're gonna start with 1 minute of breathing, and then we're gonna do a 30-second breath hold. And then we're going to go into 1.5 minutes of breathing, and then 2 minutes of breathing. I'll see if we can get into a minute breath hold. So the way that Wim Hof, sorry, I should probably preface what Wim Hof breathing is. Like on another planet right now, don't mind me. So Wim Hof breathing was developed by this guy named Wim Hof. If you guys are not familiar with him, he's like this crazy dude who did all these world records swimming under frozen water and hiking up Mount Kilimanjaro or something in shorts and like doing crazy stuff. But the premise is that he combines breath work with cold exposure and meditation. That's his method. The breathing technique they've used in studies where they've injected people with neurotoxin, which is or endotoxin, which is created by bacteria, which basically makes you feel sick when you're sick. So they injected people with endotoxin. They had people do the breath work, people not do the breath work, and the people that were doing the breath work while they had this endotoxin in the system didn't get sick, and the people that didn't do the breath work that felt like crap because they got injected with it. So what they found out over time when they started doing blood tests and stuff is that it increases these anti-inflammatory markers or reduces inflammatory markers. So it does something with reducing inflammation in the blood. So it reduces the markers that you typically see, which are like interleukins and things like that in the blood that show up with high levels of inflammation. So the way that we do this is the inhalation is a strong, full inhalation. So you breathe belly, chest, you fill up everything up as deep as you can, and then relaxed exhalation. So it's a deep breath in, exhalation is relaxed. Like you don't push all the air out, all right? And then on our last breath, we do a big breath all the way in, and then we're going to hold. And then you're going to relax into that. And then, you don't breathe in and hold, you breathe out and hold. So you're basically going to hold with little amount of oxygen in the lungs. And then you take a large exhalation in. On the last one, you're going to squeeze your body gently and hold for 10 seconds, and then you go ahead and relax. So it's inhalation, exhalation. Usually it's about 30 breaths, deep inhalation, relaxed exhalation. On the last one, you let the air out and you hold. And then when you feel the need to breathe, you breathe all the way in and you hold for 10 seconds, and then you let go. I'll guide you guys through this one. So with this, if you feel like you need to breathe, what should you do?
Breathe.
Breathe. If you feel like you're going to pass out and you're holding your breath, what should you do? Breathe. Please breathe. Don't push yourself that much. 10%, right? If you start to feel the urge, like, oh my God, I need to breathe, you can go 10% beyond that and then take a breath. This is not a contest. All right? We're going to go easy. We'll go 30 seconds, and then we'll do a 45 second, and then we'll do a 1 minute retention. So you might make it a minute, you might not. That's okay if you don't. Don't beat yourselves up. All right, so we're going to start with 1 minute of deep breathing, which will be approximately 30 breaths or so. All right, get into a comfortable position. If you feel like you want to lay down for this one, that's totally fine. If you want to sit, totally fine. Whatever works best for you. I'm try to keep this somewhere where I can access it very easy. All right, we're going to start with deep breath, all the way in, and out. In, 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 out. Last one in. All the way out. Hold. Relax. You might feel a little tingly. That's okay. 10 seconds remaining. Three, two, inhale. Hold. And let go. Go back to normal breath. And go a few seconds.
Whoa.
Alright, we're going to go into round 2. We're going to do 1 minute, 30 seconds of breath work. And then we're going to do a 45-second retention. There we go. Shake it out a little bit. Big breath in. All the way up. In. Out. Last one. On out. Holding. Relax. Relax your head, shoulders, chest, belly, hips, 5 seconds. In. All the way in. Hold. And release. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Let your body just drop into the floor a little bit. Just go back to normal breathing. Alright, we're going to go into 2 minutes breath work. We're going to do 1 minute retention. You ready? Let's get it. Here we go. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. 30 seconds. Big inhale, all the way out. Hold. Relax the head, neck, shoulders, chest. 30 seconds. Belly, hips, thighs, knees. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale. Hold. And when you feel the need to exhale, exhale, go back to your normal breath. Settle in. Feel the relaxation you just created with your breath. When you're ready, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll towards your side. Come up slow. Woo-wee! That's some good stuff right there. How you guys feeling? Confused?
Yeah. The second round got me tingly.
Yeah. So
Can we drive under these conditions?
Now you're all gonna have to call your parents.
take all your keys up front.
Already done the due diligence of stealing all the keys out of your pockets.
So yeah, these techniques are very, very intense. They're very, very effective at shifting your body out of that fight or flight state into the parasympathetic state. So when you go into this technique specifically, that act of going into breath retention, where you've built up oxygen in your body, as you hold your breath, what you're feeling is your CO2 levels are starting to rise. And that's your brain saying, I need you to breathe, breathe, stupid, breathe. Well, as you're raising CO2 levels, your blood alkalinity starts to change. Your cells start to repair themselves because that's what your body does when you get into that state. So as you do that, you can train yourself. You say, I have enough oxygen. I don't have to breathe. It's okay. You can go that extra 10% and then go ahead and breathe. How many of you guys made it all the way to that 1 minute mark? Who didn't think you'd be able to make it, but you did? It's kind of crazy. Yeah. You guys have any questions?
I have a question.
What you got?
So in the second time,
Mhm.
with like breath, I got like the tingling, like or buzzing here and like in my arms.
Yep.
But when I recently, like this week, like at the beginning-ish of like my cold shower, I start to get that like tingling. Is that
Yeah.
like
So that's your body going into like it. So that's your body releasing certain chemicals in the bloodstream. Now that could be a little bit of like dopamine, adrenaline. Those typically get triggered when you go into like that sympathetic nervous system state. So like being in a cold shower, yeah, going into a deep, heavy breathing situation, you're
yeah?
stimulating
Because at
that
the
fight or
beginning I
flight.
get the cold, like,
Yeah. So
And then
you're
I'm
like
good.
hyper oxygenating your body,
That's what I was
basically.
thinking. I was thinking like that breath during like an ice bath.
Mhm.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like that breath.
So that's Wim Hof
During-
method is, yeah, he uses.
That's what I
Now,
did.
you're not supposed to do, like, if you're submerged in water, you're never supposed to do the breathing technique with retentions because you could accidentally pass out and then drown. So be smart. If you're trying it in the cold water, like, A, have somebody around if you're going to be doing it that way, or B, just do it in a shower where you don't have the risk. And if you drown in a shower, you really have to try. But you can also, like, yeah, you got to be careful of doing that stuff because the risk of passing out is always going to be there. So make sure you're in safe environments.
Oh, that's myself up or something.
Any other questions? Yes.
So you said when you're in a heightened CO2 state,
Yep.
that your body goes into
Like a
repair
repair
mode?
mode. Correct.
How, I'm not quite understanding how that happens. Because it
So
would seem to me
CO2
that-
would be damaging to the body, correct?
Right,
So that's why your body starts to go into repair mode.
oh, in response to.
In the response to the high levels of CO2.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
interesting.
Yep.
And when you hyperventilate, your blood goes alkaline, is that right?
Correct. Yep.
And that's the theory behind like drinking alkaline water?
Yes.
That we're too acidic in general
As a population. And it mostly has to do with diet, but there's also, air pollution, that kind of stuff that
Right.
contributes to it.
And then how often should we, once we go home, how often should we try to do this once a day?
You can do it every day if you want. I would start, start easy.
Like all three techniques or?
Pick one. It should give yourself every day, say, I'm going to do 5 minutes of breath work. Start there. And then you can go to 10 minutes. I've done breath work for an hour. So you can get pretty deep with this stuff. You can go to another planet. Some of these things like, there hasn't been a whole lot of research around it, but some places say like it releases DMT, which is kind of like a hallucinogen that gets released into the bloodstream. Like they say like, I don't want to get too morbid, but like people that have near-death experiences, like that's what the chemical that gets released, and apparently you can have these and do different things with meditation and whatever your beliefs are around that kind of stuff, prayer, meditation, but just being able to kind of move internal a little bit more than you would otherwise. That chemical can help you do that.
So if you wanted to I've never meditated like that.
Yeah.
What kind of breathing would,
So
just whatever you're comfortable
breath work is, so it's good to do, so there's a philosophy of movement, breath work, meditation. So you do yoga, and then you do the breathing to kind of get you out of your head a little bit so you're in a relaxed state, and then you do your meditation, which is basically just sitting still, focusing on your normal breath. And that's where typically you have your thoughts come in, you're like, there's my thought, and you're like, oh wait, come back to the breath. Oh wait, here's another thought. Oh wait, come back to the breath. Oh wait, here's another thought. Oh, come back to the breath. That's what meditation is the practice of coming back to the breath.
just thinking about your
It's
breathing.
never you're there, still mind, not thinking of anything. Your mind is running all over the place, and you allow it to do so, and then you bring it back. And then it's going to go over here, and you bring it back. So doing the breath work helps to kind of quiet that part down a little bit. Cool. Well, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy the little chemical response we got right now.